I've been waiting on my husband for a while, so I know exactly what I want.
That's
I want
interesting.
someone that is wanting marriage, fun, ambitious, understands entrepreneurship, because I do have a business as well, or desires to understand it. That's family
Uh,
oriented,
Come
puts
back.
God first, someone that is mentally, emotionally, and financially stable, supportive, which I really want someone that when I have my bad days, that's gonna encourage me, just as I would do him. Um, Someone that is going to be a leader, a great personality, funny, doesn't have to take life too serious, a foodie because I love food. Um, Great temperament, loyal, honest, a good communicator, someone who is just as much into me as I will be into them.
Okay. Real quick, you said you want someone that's ready to get married. Why didn't you?
Chris says, here we go. Yeah. As in, she's waiting on a guy with all that. Right.
And then we'll come back to you. But I got people waiting, so you gotta have it together. Hello.
Hi, Kendra.
Hey, girl. What's
Oh,
your name,
you are so
baby?
gorgeous. You are so gorgeous. I just have to say that I love you.
I love you back, boo. What's your name, honey?
Valentina.
Valentina. Okay, where you
Yeah.
calling me from?
I am in Georgia.
Georgia. What do you do for a
Hmm.
living?
I am a clinical laboratory scientist. So I work in the lab.
Okay, you have any children?
I have two.
How old are your kids?
My oldest will be 14 next month, and my youngest is 10.
10. Both by the same man?
Interesting.
Yes.
Have you ever been married?
No.
No. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, your
Okay.
light just went out. Oh, there
Sorry.
you go. What's your zodiac? Oh, how old are you?
34.
34. And what's your zodiac sign?
I am Aquarius.
Aquarius. Let's do it. Valentina. That's interesting. I never heard that before. Valentina, Georgia, scientist, two kids, 14 and 10. And she's an Aquarius, 34 years old. What kind of man you looking for, baby?
So I have my notes here.
Got a
I
notes. I love when
am
you come with a notebook.
no, because I've been waiting on my husband for a while, so I know exactly what I want.
That's
I want
interesting.
someone that is wanting marriage, fun, ambitious, understands entrepreneurship, because I do have a business as well, or desires to understand it. That's family
Uh,
oriented,
Come
puts
back.
God first, someone that is mentally, emotionally, and financially stable, supportive, which I really want someone that when I have my bad days, that's gonna encourage me, just as I would do him. Um, Someone that is going to be a leader, a great personality, funny, doesn't have to take life too serious, a foodie because I love food. Um, Great temperament, loyal, honest, a good communicator, someone who is just as much into me as I will be into them.
Okay. Real quick, you said you want someone that's ready to get married. Why didn't you?
Chris says, here we go. Yeah. As in, she's waiting on a guy with all that. Right. You know what? And she listed a lot of things that are, how do you say this? Cliche. How much of that is actual? It'd be interesting to see if anything she says in the future contradicts all the stuff that she just listed. Oftentimes, when women give these long lists, I think that it may be a predicator to the fact that they don't know what they want, so they just list a bunch of good qualities that they think they think would be good to have in a man, not realizing what comes with that. Life is about choices and trade-offs, people. So you want a man who's got all that. Okay, well, what's the trade-off? What does he get in return? But let's keep going.
Marry the man you have two kids by?
Great question.
We were on two different pages. Um,
What does that mean?
to me, the relationship ran its course. After so much stuff has transpired in a relationship, sometimes it never goes back to what you wished it to be or thought it would be. So,
Okay. What are your deal breakers?
Translation: she picked the wrong guy. So it's like I always tell you guys, when people start coming, because this goes for guys, when guys start complaining about stuff too, about relationships and the opposite gender. When people start complaining about their past relationships, okay, well, who vetted that person for you? This is what I would want to know about the father of her kids. If y'all are going in two different directions, then how did y'all end up spending enough time or get far enough down the relationship road that you got two kids by this man? Why wasn't marriage a requirement then? For those of you that are new here, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that a lot of these relationship conversations, they always they always can boil down to four social constructs: the way we raise our kids, the vetting process is broken, concept of marriage needs to be updated, and the fourth one is finances. We don't spend a lot of time talking about finances just because the first three are they're intertwined, and if we can't work out the first three, at least in the form of temporary solutions, the fourth one wouldn't matter anyway. But to speak about this, okay, well, you were with this guy and you had two kids by him, but yet you guys weren't on the same page. Well, how in the world do you end up in a relationship long enough with a man? Because they were together they had to be at least 4 years. So why are you with a man for that long, but y'all are going in different directions? Who's vetting the guy for you? She's 34 now. That was in her early 20s. If I had to guess, I would probably say it's nobody. But let's keep going.
deal breakers are someone that's controlling, a bad attitude, selfish, um, explosive temper, easily angered, still in their whole phase, comfortable with being complacent, uh, insecure, unmotivated, bad teeth, bad hygiene.
I always find it interesting when women say a man is still in his whole phase, um, as if, you know, attracting sexual attention from women is just easy. So, like, what does that mean when a man is in his whole phase? Has she been dealing with a 1% guy who has a lot of options? Is that what it is? That's who she's looking to marry? And all these guys who are, at the top of the food chain in the dating market, they're not trying to be monogamous, and they don't want commitment. But is that what's going on here? That's who she's attracted to. That's who she wants to marry. I also find it interesting that, the guy being controlling is a deal breaker. I think at some point we have to start asking women, what's the difference between him being controlling and him being a leader? I don't think we're going to get a straight answer, but it's an interesting question though, right?
Bad teeth, bad hygiene. Okay. Does he have to look a certain way?
Um, Not in particular. Like, as long as he's a decent looking man, like that's not a thing for me. I just want someone that's gonna treat me right.
Okay. Does he gotta make a certain amount of money?
Okay. Chris, you can't send a super chat. I don't know why. Okay. Super chats, I guess, are not available for some reason. I'll figure it out after the stream. So, hey, I appreciate the effort though, brother. Next time.
Um, I would say 75,000.
Okay. Do you want more kids?
No.
Oh, stop the show. AP, the accountability partner, has come through. Brother, I appreciate you stopping through, man. Shout out to you. I caught you guys on stream the other night, too. Great show.
No. So you don't want more kids. So that means he has to have kids already.
Yes.
Okay. What's the age range you want to date?
So I'm 34, so I'd like to date a little older, maybe 39 to 55.
Okay. All right, boo. Let's do the Kendra Cam.
All right.
They'll be working with y'all. I could say, okay, like you're in great shape.
Yeah, I'm petite.
She said, oh, she's petite. So Valentina is her name, Georgia. Do you want the guy to be in Georgia?
Preferably not.
Oh no, so you'll relocate.
I will.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
she's a scientist, Aquarius, 34, 2 kids. When was your last relationship?
My last relationship was a few months ago, and that ended because when we initially got together, he knew I didn't want any more kids, and he said he didn't want kids, and then he changed his mind. And it's an absolute no for me. I'm not having any more kids.
That's an absolute no for you. Child, that's an absolute no. Okay. So he has to really already have his kids if that's what his desire is.
Yes.
Okay. You don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask. When's the last time you was intimate with someone?
I'll choose not to answer that question.
Okay.
Good job. Don't
Why do
answer
you
that,
think you're
ladies.
single?
I think I am single because I have I'll figure it out or I'll do it myself type of mindset. I don't allow people to help me. And I know that is considered like a trauma response or whatever. But it's just hyper independence.
Yeah.
Hyper independence. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know or you're unaware, when women talk about hyper independence, what they're really saying is that I've been raised to be a soldier in the gender war. Translation, I don't trust men. So instead of asking for a man to help, I'd rather just know I don't trust that they're actually going to be able to help me, and I don't want to get burned by them or turned down. So yeah, that's all that means. And AP says super chat is set to members only. Okay, that's new to me. I haven't changed that, but you know what? I'll try and figure it out. If I get it this stream, great. If not, then like I said, I appreciate the effort, guys. Let's go ahead and let's keep going.
Are you willing to work on that?
I am. I actually am. I go to therapy and stuff. I think everybody should do therapy. So I go to therapy and try to work through what I find are flaws or things that were brought up to me from other people.
So what are your 3 flaws?
Procrastinating is one. I would say placing my values and expectations on other people. So me expecting them to be the type of person I am, or I get really traumatized. I would say, like, when someone does something to me that I know I would absolutely never do to them, or say something to them that I know I absolutely wouldn't do to them. But that is my fault because I can't place my values and expectations on other people. And the last one, I would say, like I said before, the hyper independence.
Okay. And why would a guy be lucky to be with you, boo?
Ooh, girl. Because I am ambitious. I'm an encourager. I'm a wife. I know I'm a wife. Everything that a wife is supposed to do for a man, that's what I do. I'll have the dinner on the table, baby. When he's coming home, it's gonna be hot on the table, honey. His bath will be ran, them clothes gonna be washed, the house will be kept. But more importantly, like I said before, I've been preparing for my husband for a while. I pray for my husband every day. So he'll have a prayerful wife, someone that when he's going through hard times, someone that he can lean on. Because I think a lot of times men take on this role that they can't be vulnerable with us. And that's not true. You're supposed to be able to be vulnerable with your person. That is the one person that they should be able to be vulnerable with. And I think society has just created an environment for them to not feel comfortable being in that space. So yeah, but yeah, that's all.
I got you. I want to just ask you this. I would like to, because I think I've seen it a couple times in the comments, and I just want to get your response to it because I love your answer about you being a wife. This is not a requirement from all men. It's not a
Mhm.
requirement. So your husband probably will obviously have to fit outside of this. But some will say, well, men are looking for wives, but they also want to have a baby with
Mhm.
their wife. And I have seen a couple of men, like a lot of them, not all, but lately the men that you guys describe as in character, they want to have children. So, what would you say to that? Like, okay, you're a
That's a
wife, but
good
you
point.
don't want to have a baby by your husband.
That's a good point.
I don't think it's in particular that don't want to have one with my husband. I was a mom at 20. I'm 34.
That's what she said.
I didn't get that opportunity that most people had in their younger years to travel and explore and live life. I was a mom young. So I kind of want to do that with my husband. That's why I would prefer someone that does have kids and doesn't want any more kids because at this point, I have a 14-year-old and almost 11-year-old. They're pretty much independent. So I want to travel. I want to make
Uh
those
huh.
memories with my husband. And to be honest, at 34, I only have one more year before I'm considered a high risk pregnancy. So
That's
I
true too.
don't think that that would be logical because 1 year, if I meet someone now, you're saying dating for a minimum of a year to 2 years before you get engaged. Engaged by the time we get married, I'll be almost 40.
Okay. I'm happy you responded. Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, let's do it, boo. Valentina. What was your age range? You're 34. What's the age range?
39 to 54, 55.
You go to 55.
Yes.
Okay, so 34 to 55. And how can the guy reach out to you?
You can reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is growth underscore and underscore prosperity 89.
Prosperity 89.
Okay. So, Chris is making an interesting point. I've noticed our community being complacent at your job, meaning be on your job for 15 years plus is a bad thing. If you have a skilled trade or benefits, how is that a bad thing? It's not. Remember, I told you that these relationship talks, all these conversations boil down to a basic four topics, right? Um, how what Chris is talking about actually relates to this woman here, and she said some things that are alarming. And there was some. I mean, they're not deal breakers, but I think that if this is your type of woman, there's some things that you need to be aware of. So, actually, did she give an Instagram? Guys, I might have missed her Instagram. If do we need to? Do we need to go back for a second?
54, 55.
You go to 55.
Yes.
Okay, so 34 to 55. And how can the guy reach out to you?
You can reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is growth underscore and underscore prosperity 89.
Prosperity 89. Let's do it, Valentina. That's interesting. I've never heard that name before.
Thank you.
Georgia, what?
Okay, Instagram's wasted time is set to private, so I don't know why women give that if you can't even if they're gonna set it to private, kind of defeats the purpose. But moving right along, like I said, there were some things that came up when she was talking that I think that if this is the type of woman you're looking for, I think you need to be aware of. But let's go through the list because remember we've got 6 categories here. So, well, we already know she has kids. She's got 2 kids, 14 and 10, and we're gonna come back to that because I think there's more there than she's letting on, and it deserves to be discussed. So is she submissive? No, no. Usually, Kendra's questions don't give you any kind of information about a woman's level of submissiveness. Now, she talked about those things about, dinner's on the table and your bath is drawn. You know what? This ties into something else too. So we're going to come back to, is she cooperative? That's going to be tough to say. Because the questions don't get very specific about her level of cooperation. Again, she talked about those things that most men want to hear, which makes me question that because you're on a dating show and then if you're doing all that, you got dinner on the table and everything. Did the child's father get that stuff? And you guys still aren't together and he's not an option. So something else is going on there. Is she friendly? Well, I mean, usually this is where a social media page would come in handy, because then you get to see her interact with the outside world and not just this, 10-minute interview. But from the 10-minute interview, she appears to be friendly. I mean, she's smiling, which is better than some of these other women that I've seen. Yeah, so. Is she feminine? Yeah, I think so. She came on here. She's presentable, right? She didn't come on here in her pajamas. And it looks like she's ready to be on camera, which says a lot. And she is in shape. She's not obese. So, we've got she's not obese. She's feminine. Yeah. The things that stood out to me though, when she talked about the guy, she listed like a bunch of attributes. And most specifically, well, I already brought it up. She says she wants a leader, but then I think we need to start asking women, when women say they want a leader, what's the difference between the guy being a leader and him being controlling? I don't know. I think it's worth a question to ask, though. The other thing that stood out to me is that when she said she lives in Georgia and Kendra asked her, does he have to be in Georgia? She said no. So there are millions of guys in Georgia, millions of people, and not one of them you'd actually prefer a long distance relationship. But here's the other kicker. She said she would be willing to relocate. But look at the job that she listed, though. She's a lab scientist. And she didn't say she lives in Atlanta, which is a major metropolitan area. So where exactly would her job allow her to move to? Chris sends a super chat. Super chat works. Support the show. Appreciate you, Chris. Let's see. Chris, she's pretty. Yeah, she is attractive. Accountability partner says she's dateable. She's not court worthy from this interview. Yeah. And the other thing that I took note of is that when Kendra asked her about why should a guy pick her, or why would he, what would benefit him from being with her, from marrying her, because that's what we're here to talk about, marriage. She's ambitious and she's encouraging. So this is where the rubber meets the road, because she can have all of, the 6 categories: fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless. These things here, this ambition and this, she gives encouragement. Plus, she doesn't trust men. Hyper independence. So no, she's not cooperative because she's hyper independent. The minute you're not doing something that she wants you to do, she's going off on her own. which makes you wonder, how submissive is she then? I mean, these are her words, not mine. But when you have someone who's ambitious and, who is there to encourage you, you know what I think about? Those are the qualities that I would want in a leader, right? Think about it at your job. You want your boss to be like that, right? Encouraging, helping you out. I mean, and training you. But those are the things that she listed. I don't know how I missed this when she said it. This woman has very little knowledge of the male experience. I think what she did was listed the things that she's attracted to and said that, well, the guy should be attracted to those too. Chris says, I think a man making over 100K could probably get a child from her. You know what? That may or may not be true, just because I think she's done with kids. I think that because the way she talked about it, she's glad that her kids are old enough that she doesn't have to follow behind them. I think that this is a woman who is, she fell for the wrong guy and thought that her having a baby meant that they were going to get married. And again, this is a woman, who vetted that man for you? Because I gotta put the dad hat on here and say, okay, why are you having baby number 2 by this guy? Why are you still messing with this guy? You already had one child with him and y'all not married. If you're my daughter and you're telling me you want to get married and you finna have a baby by this man and there's no ring, like what? Who vetted that man for you? That's all I got. Because these things aren't adding up. But now you got 2 kids and you want a husband to travel with. Okay, that's cool. The one benefit to her saying that is that the age range that she's willing to date, 55, 50 and up. Most men in their 50s, they're not trying to have kids anymore. They got their kids already. So I think that, she doesn't want a family. That changes things. It's not necessarily that, what do you call this? There's a specific term for this. She's not necessarily looking for a husband. She's just looking for a companionship, to somebody to make it to the end of life with. And like I said, you can find that in the age range that she's talking about. I mean, you date guys 50 and up. I mean, they're not looking to marry you. And they're more likely to have disposable income to do the things that she's looking to do. Because let's face it, if she's a scientist, so more than likely she's a higher earner. With women who are higher earners, if you're a higher earner, ladies, and you're looking to get married for the purpose of family, I think you should consider being the breadwinner. You have to be okay with that. It doesn't make you head of the household. It doesn't make you the leader. But it's something to think about, though, because most men are not going to make what you make if you're a higher earner. And the guys that do make that, I mean, come on, they're not really looking for you. So it's something to consider. But it also means that if you're going to be the breadwinner, then you're going to have to look past a man's income and for some more tangible attributes that are going to make him a good husband. But again, I keep saying this, all these relationship talks boil down to the same topics. That means you need a man who is a male family member who can vet a guy for you, because women outside of income, they very rarely are able to pick the right man for marriage, or a man who's husband material. But let's see. The accountability partner says she's dateable, but she's not quote worthy from this interview. Yeah, I agree. Chris says this is the one time I would love to see her Instagram. You know what? I'm starting to wonder if her Instagram has anything on it. Just because you got 2 kids and you're a scientist. I mean, how much time do you think she has outside of working kids? Just being honest there. But we're gonna have to go ahead and move on, because because Here's the thing. Do I think she's marriageable? No. Here's why. Most men are not going to measure up for her, and she's got trust issues. But the biggest one is that most marriage-minded men are looking to build a family. They want kids. So if you're not interested in having kids, that takes a big reason for marriage away from the guy. Because again, there's a lot of risk that comes with marriage. We know that, right? But the benefit is that you're going to raise a family and extend your legacy beyond your own lifetime. With that off the table, though, most men is, yeah, like I said, she gets in that upper age group. Yeah, but then again, single men in that age group, they're not necessarily looking for marriage. I mean, come on. But we got to move on because we spent way too much time on this woman. And yeah, let's keep going.
Georgia scientist, 2 kids, 14 and 10. She's
Need to
34 and
move
Aquarius.
on to the next
And let's see
one.
how it goes. Keep me posted, boo.
I will. Thank you.